That, I think, is one of the new additions to fertility treatments in the last years, and personally I'm loving it. In the old times, not so many days ago really, the way to select the embryos to be transferred was based purely on morphology of the embryo. So the biologist, what he will do, will check the embryo on day 1, then on day 2, day 3, and the assessment will be by the number of cells, the shape of these cells, and the fragmentation of these cells. And it was a morphological assessment just based on the shape of the cells and the embryo in total. Nowadays there is these new technologies, these EmbryoLabs technologies, where what we are doing is you have to imagine an incubator with a camera on top of the embryos. Then that means that we can observe the embryos all the time without having to open the lid. We have to do anything invasive to the embryos, so we can leave the embryos secluded in their incubator, not touching them, and let them grow naturally. So that's one of the main advantages, that the embryos, they really grow better because we are not interfering with anything. The second advantage is that this camera can do pictures of the embryos, like for example every 20 minutes on different planes, and that creates like a video of the embryo where you can see the evolution of the embryo. So that means that apart from the morphology, you can see what is the growth, what is the growth rate, what is what's called morphokinetics of the embryo, and that gives you also a prognosis of the vitality of this embryo. It's really a very nice information to have, because you can select the best embryo to transfer. So first, you are helping the embryos to grow better. Second, we are choosing the best embryo to transfer because we have more information when we see how they grow. So both things increase the success rate of this embryo transfer. Some studies suggest up to 20%. It depends, but it's really worth to apply these techniques. The third advantage is that in Institut Marquès, for example, we have what's called Embryo Mobile. That means that we can send the patient a link to see the embryos on their mobile. It's like if they were in the lab with the biologists. It's like they are checking the embryos at the same time. They can see when we are telling them the information about the embryos, they have the video of the embryos in front of them. They see that what we are saying is what is there. Is kind of open information. It's like if you're in a restaurant and you are able to go into the kitchen and see how they do the process. So it will be the same, and I think that's very nice because the patients feel that the information given is open, and they can follow the process more from the beginning. They are checking their embryos, and psychologically this also has an impact on the patient that, who knows, it might affect also on the chances of implantation. Some studies suggest that this might be the case. So embryo monitoring is definitely one of the new resources that increase fertility, the success in fertility treatments, and I recommend everybody to go for that.